up next, we've got Kate and the team from Grant Thornton. So Kate, I might throw to you and we'll start getting you ready to share your screen as well. Bear with me.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining me today, everyone. For those of you who I haven't met, and I've probably met a lot of you across campus over the last year or so, my name is Kate Minns. I'm a senior graduate recruiter here at Grant Thornton. What does that big long title mean? Essentially, I look after the recruitment of our graduate and our vacation programs across the country. So if you're looking for someone who's probably going to be the one reading your CV, viewing your video interviews, answering all the questions that you email or phone call in, that would be me. So I've been with the firm for almost 4 years now, loving every second of it. I am based in Melbourne, but we obviously recruit for graduates and vacationers around the countryside. So today's really a chance for us to get to know you a little bit better and for you to get to know us. I'll talk a little bit about who we are as a firm, but today, and excitedly, I'm joined by 3 of my colleagues who work across a variety of service lines and across a variety of our offices. And I really wanted you to get the chance to know some of the people who you might be working alongside if you're going to be joining us as a vacationer or a grad in the next year or so. So at a very high level, who are we? Outside of the Big Four, we are one of the largest, the world's largest accounting, advisory and tax firms. So you can see some pretty big numbers on the screen there. At the crux of it, Grant Thornton is an international network of firms. So we're comprised of over 130 offices around the world, and over 58,000 professionals make up our body of people. At a more localized level, we've got just over 1,300 team members here in Australia, and that's spread out across our 6 offices around the countryside. What does that actually mean for you? Essentially, we're big enough that you're going to be able to get access to some really interesting client work. So we work with a variety of clients, both variety and size, but also in terms of their industries as well. But it also means that we're small enough that you're not just going to be a number when you join us. So we have opportunities for people all across the country. So for those of you who are joining us from different states, we've got opportunities in Cairns, Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, and Perth as well. So plenty of opportunities to join us around the countryside and get to experience what might be happening in your local area within the accounting industry. As you'd expect from an accounting and an advisory firm, we offer a range of different service lines for our clients. Our 5 main service lines are, of course, audit and assurance, which is one of our largest groups. We've got our consulting team, our financial advisory team, our private advisory team, also known as private business tax and advisory, and our tax team as well, which is more around our corporate tax and our specialist tax work. It can be really daunting to understand the differences between all the firms. We all look relatively similar on paper. We all do amazing work and amazing clients. I guess the thing that sets Grant Thornton apart and why you might see us as different to some of our competitors, we're a strong values-led organisation. So we live our client purpose through our care values. And as you can see, our core purpose as an organisation is to actually care for our clients, our communities, our people, and to support them to thrive. And so we do that through living, like I said, our care values, which is collaboration, authenticity, responsibility, and excellence. And this is what we're really looking from you throughout the application and recruitment process. So looking for how you demonstrate those values, looking for how you might be able to bring those to us if you should join Grant Thornton. We do have 2 different pathways to get into the firm, the first of which being our graduate program. So this program is open to final year students or those who have recently graduated. So if you've graduated in the last 2 years, that program is still open to you as well. Our program is non-rotational, so you will select your first preference team and we recruit you through in that fashion. So if, for example, you've got a strong audit and private advisory, so strong interest in private advisory, that's the team you'd apply for, and that's the team that you would start in as a graduate. We, of course, offer a range of supports to you as a graduate, opportunity to undertake your CA or another postgrad qualification that might be of interest to you in your career. We offer you a dedicated training program. So you're not expected to know everything when you come in. In fact, we expect that you've just got the bare bones of your degrees to start off with. We provide that soft landing for you to enter into the business, beef up your technical skills, beef up your professional skills, and really start to help you hone who you want to be as a young professional in the industry. The other part of our program is the vacation program, and this is open to both penultimate students and final year students. Depending on where you are in the country will depend on the length of your program, but generally speaking, it's a 4 to 6 week program that will take place over your winter or your summer break, and really gives you a chance to try before you buy, so to speak. So you'll be doing real client work. You're not off fetching coffees or picking up dry cleaning. You're working on real projects that have a real client impact, and we try to give you as much of a taste of what it's like to be a graduate throughout that process as we possibly can. So you'll have a coaching manager who will support you. You'll have a buddy, exactly what you would have if you joined us as a graduate. Of course, it's also a really good opportunity to use our vacation program as a stepping stone to a graduate role. So the vast majority of graduates that we hire come through our vacation program. We obviously still hire a few additional, and that's what we're going out to market for at the moment. But the vacation program essentially fast tracks you through that. So if you have a really successful vacation program, there's a nice shiny graduate offer at the end of that for you. Awesome. Well, I just wanted to give you a taste of who we are as a firm. Plenty of information on the website, which you can go and have a look at afterwards. Otherwise, I'll also be available for questions after this session as well. But I really wanted to introduce you to some of our panelists today. So Becky, Daniela, and Bebe are going to talk a little bit about their career at Grant Thornton so far, their experiences, what they thought it was going to be coming in versus what it's actually been in reality. So to introduce you to who we've got on the call today, and I'll get them to unmute themselves in a moment. I've got Becky Lowe, who's an associate in our audit and assurance team in Perth. I've got Daniela Baggio, who is a senior associate in our corporate tax team in Adelaide. And of course, I've got Bebe Hahn, who's a partner in our private advisory team here in Melbourne. Ladies, if you wouldn't mind, if you can unmute yourself, then we might get into today's panel. Amazing. So a quick question just to get everyone started, and I suppose to introduce everyone to who you are and what you've done in your career so far. Would you mind giving us an insight as to who you are, where did you start your career versus where are you now, and what does your current role involve? Becky, we might start with you. No, we might jump to Daniela very quickly whilst we let Becky get her, her mic sorted. Daniela, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually started doing a little bit of a part-time work at a really small accounting firm during my last couple of years. At uni kind of gave me that little bit of a taste of, well, what actually does this entail? And I like to think of that as almost doing a vacation program with GT, and that set me up well to know that I wanted to enter into corporate tax at Grant Thornton. So I started as a graduate 4 years ago in Adelaide in corporate tax. And over those 4 years, I mean, it's crazy thinking back now that it's only been 4 years when I think about how much I kind of have been able to achieve and see and experience, because I think I definitely thought that those first few years, first 2-3 years would be, a lot different than they were being so new and green. But I'm now in a position in my current role where I'm overseeing clients, I'm managing day to day, I'm mentoring new people coming through, and still being mentored myself by by senior staff members who mentored me when I began. So yeah, it's really nice to kind of look back and think how much has been kind of experienced through those years. But yes, that's kind of where I am now.
Amazing. It's come full circle for you now. You can give back to the new graddies and the vackies that are coming through.
Exactly.
Becky, did you want to give us a brief introduction to yourself?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. I was in the hospitality industry until I was about 25. I just really wanted a change and was interested in accounting because I like working with numbers. So I went through the full GT grad recruitment program in 2020, which was right as COVID was hitting. So everything went virtual and it all went so smoothly. And I was just so ecstatic to get the call to say I was starting in audit in Perth as a graduate in 21. So here I am about 1 year later, and I'm really enjoying it. It's really great.
Amazing. And Bebe, finally yourself, do you want to tell us a little bit about your career journey so far, as packed as it may be?
Sure. So as just the start, I'm not showing the all very purple backdrop. I just want to show a little bit of our lovely office. Actually, all these photos behind me are taken by our staff. So the office is fully decorated by our teams, which is great. So I started actually as an overseas student. So I came to Australia as a high school student. I did my uni here. And I was just very fortunate. I get a accounting position when I first graduated from a business commerce degree. Was a smaller mid-tier firm, and I guess, you know, it's just basically up to a certain level that it just it stopped the progression there. So I moved to GT, started as a assistant manager, and I have been with the firm now for 11 years. And I'm a partner in private advisory based in Melbourne.
And Bebe, your role as a partner, what does that involve you doing every day? I know a lot of students think that the life of a partner is very cryptic. What do you actually do?
I guess I have to say I really enjoy what I do, and I think I really enjoy, like, basically I have the choice to do the things I really love to do. I think basically, first of all, is our staff. We do have a very young and dynamic team, and people have different needs. A lot of career coaching, lots of technical development. So busy with that. And also, on the other hand, we do have a very, very different client base. So, you know, from property to infotech to financial services to professional services. So we have a very, very rich client base, basically looking after clients. And also, there's another very important role of us is basically try to develop our soft skill and BD skills. So talk to a lot of law firms, banks, and try to basically bring the solutions to our client.
Amazing. Sounds like a really varied role. I'm sure there's a few people on the call who have aspirations to be a partner themselves one day. So thank you for giving them a little bit of insight. The next question I had was more around the industry, the accounting industry as a whole. It can be a little bit intimidating for new students thinking about where their career might lead them. Did you have any preconceived ideas about what the industry was before you joined? And really, how has your time at GT either changed or reiterated those perceptions around what being a woman specifically in the accounting profession means? Daniela, do you want to start us off again?
Yeah, I definitely had that that very stuffy, black and white, not very exciting preconceived idea of the accounting industry. As much as I had wanted to be an accountant for a long time, my idea of entering into a firm that is the size that GT is, I was expecting these box offices, not being able to speak to partners, all that kind of very old school approach to accounting. And it's hilarious to think about now, because my experience at GT could not be further from that. We all have we hot desk, we sit at different desks every day, we sit next to different people every day. I still remember my first day starting, and I got lucky and there was only one spot left in the area, and I was sat between two partners, and the fear that first came over me, you know, sitting between these two people who are so experienced, so brilliant at what they do, and to be able to sit between them and see how they interact with their teams, how they interact with clients on calls on a daily basis. Those kind of things definitely change, one, your perception of how this industry works, and two, it really gives you an opportunity to elevate so much faster than I thought that I would be able to. Having that instant interaction between senior team members that you wouldn't get if people were stuck behind closed doors in offices. So just that environmental difference that we got from what I thought it would be, that alone completely changed my view of the industry. And things like that, I think, when going back to your point, Kate, around being a woman in accounting, a lot of the times when you might think that you don't get that opportunity to be behind those closed doors in those meetings. When those meetings and calls are happening out in the open, you do get to be involved. There is no barrier, literally or metaphorically. And GT has definitely changed all of those preconceived notions that I had around whether or not I would be able to progress the way that I'd like to in my career.
Yeah, really interesting, Daniela. Becky, you're obviously really fresh in your journey and probably kind of reflecting on some of those preconceptions that you had initially versus your first year in the industry. How is it the same or different for you?
It's very similar, my thoughts, to what Daniela has said. I kind of expected this straight and narrow, a lot of barriers up. But really, it actually is more like a family. It just, yeah, I don't know how else to explain it. Everybody is really friendly and really actually genuinely cares about your career progression and your physical and mental well-being as well. That was just absolutely amazing to not be one of a number and, oh, you're a graduate over there. I sit in front of a partner at the moment in audit, and he pulls me over to help him with PowerPoint and stuff like that. So there was never this preconceived notion that I shoved away in a corner because I don't know anything. It's just so good. It's a great family vibe, I'd say.
And Bebe, you've been in this industry for a long time. You've probably seen a lot of change in how it's operated. Can you shine a little bit of light on the change that you've seen and what it's been like for you over this time?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, before as a graduate, when I first stepped into the accounting world, it's a lot of back desk work. It's just doing a lot of reconciliations, debit, credit, and taking instructions from the managers and the partners of the job. But I guess, and then, our career stops at one stage once we start getting, settled down, having children, and start working part-time, and kind of like career, it's just progression. It stops there out slowly, moving forward. But from what I see in the last 11 years, especially the time I'm with GT, it's like, as long as you are willing to achieve something, it is possible because you have been given the opportunities. And I think sometimes it's a good pressure just to push you along. I work with, even when I was at a manager's level, working with corporate tax, audit, corporate finance, even APAC with the GT International Network and all 6 offices across the country. I really, really enjoyed that.
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, I've certainly found the same thing, Bebe. If you want to take the opportunities that are available to you, the opportunity is there. I'm returning myself to work as a part-timer after maternity leave, and I've been promoted whilst I've been on maternity leave. It's no barrier now to the progression of your career if you want to continue to drive ahead. It's amazing. Ladies, we've had a really good chat so far. We are running out of time. So I just wanted to ask you, I guess, if you could offer some advice to your past student self and maybe some students that are on the call today, what advice would you offer? Becky?
Well, good one. I think my top one is just to ask heaps of questions. Use that time period as a graduate where you don't have huge responsibilities or expectations, just to ask as many questions as possible, as many different opinions of people in the office as possible about your work. Just get that real solid foundation, because that's what I spent a lot of the past year doing, and I've come into my second year now feeling really confident in my ability and my work. So definitely ask all the questions.
Ask questions. Daniela, what about yourself?
I would tell my student self to not be so caught up in the idea of what I think people want from me, what recruiters want from me. Because at the end of the day, recruiters are looking for people who are going to add benefit to their teams. And adding benefit is being able to have diverse ways of thinking, of approaching things. And I really wish I'd known that back then, instead of spending so much time getting caught up in what I should be and what I should be behaving.
Just be you. Very on brand. And Bebe, yourself?
I guess if I go back to my 20s again, I would like to socialize more and I guess take more commitment into volunteer works and socialize with my peers and with my classmates, with my uni mates. It's because basically, you know, after 20 years in this industry, we grow together. So basically that network, that value that your network can bring to you, it's priceless.
Absolutely. Network, 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 and more networking. And you can do it virtually now as well, which is amazing. Ladies, thank you so much for our time. We are out of time for our panel. To everyone who's on the call today, I will remain online to answer some questions if you have any, so feel free to pop them into the chat and I'll be there for the next 15 minutes or so. Our applications are open now, and of course, we'd love to see applications from everyone. Thank you so much.